Hello, once again, everybody, and on behalf of the All-Star Football Officials Association Training Committee, I'd like to welcome you to our 8th video for the 2021 season. This one, just real quick, I want to go over really just 3 plays, and talk a little bit about what to do if you're at a field that doesn't have hash marks or ticks, either on the sideline, in the middle of the field. Got to play with a long kind of bad snap goes into the end zone. And finally, just a quick refresher on a few of the very basic 7-man mechanics, mostly talking about back judge, since we don't really use that during the season. Just a quick refresher, kind of get your mind going if you're working 7-man this week. But again, it should be in the mechanics manual. But just a little refresher, get you thinking about it. But other than that, let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, this play right here, good play to talk about it. Just a couple things. See right here, 1st and 20, just had a kickoff, so not much going on. But as this play starts and gets going, I want you to watch kind of what happens. There's just going to be a bad snap, and we'll get the ball going towards the end zone. So let's talk about a little bit what happens if we have a bad snap. Again, it's not 4th down, so we're not thinking, all right, bad snap on the punt. Obviously, remember the official facing the referee, in this case would be the head linesman, would go back and cover the goal line if that was threatened, or a bad snap, remember, whatever it is. The official facing or opposite the referee would go back help. We don't have that in this case, so you'll see as it plays out. Just know that. But the same principle kind of applies here in this case. Remember, line judge ultimately is responsible for it. So if we do get a bad snap, or even if we hand the ball off and this guy gets blocked up here and he starts running around back towards the goal line, remember, the referee is ultimately going to have this goal line. He'll get back there and cover that. But also, the head linesman would also share responsibility trying to get back there and help him out as well. And you'll see as it breaks down here, just keep that in mind. But I want to talk about kind of things that happen during the play. You'll see. Bad snap, gets going. Again, you see both wings take off. That's not what we want. Line judge, somebody's got to be here. Line judge, hold what you got. Head linesman, you go ahead and take off. Referee's back there. He's already looking. If you get back there with the referee, y'all are looking at the same thing. So we're in a point. Line judge, remember, hold what you got. Head linesman, take off. And as it goes on here, you'll see ball gets beat around right there. They're diving on it. It's loose. Heads into the end zone. Nothing illegal about it. Wasn't batted. Wasn't kicked illegally. Anything like that. Just trying to recover it. Gets knocked around and ends up. And again, right here, referee got to hustle. When you see that happening, hustle and get back here so we can roll on this back line. You did good getting right here. I know it got away real quick. These guys are a lot younger than we are, and they'll get back there. Get back there quick, and because if he gets on it right there, that's kind of 50-50 whether he possessed the ball inbounds or whether he possessed the ball with a foot on the line or something like that. So that could be the difference between a touchdown, what it could have been, or a safety, which is what it ends up being in this case. Because remember, what took the ball into and out of the end zone in this case was the snap. It was just a bad snap. So everything going back here is still part of this snap. Again, so keep that in mind. There was no, even if it was loose back here and the defense touched it here, they did not put an impetus on it. That ball wasn't stopped. They didn't put it in there. The snap put it in there. So the offense is on the hook. Even though the defense touched it back here again before it went out, the offense is still on the hook for it. There's nothing illegal about what they did. It just scored it out. They had an opportunity to get on it, didn't. So in this case, you see it plays out, just kicks out. It ends up being a safety. Good job. Crew rules it that way. But again, just mechanic-wise, remember, line judge needed to hold that line. Head linesman get back here and help out. And then referee, ultimately, when you saw it scoot, try and get back there. Sometimes you just got to do the best you can. Wasn't much we could do. That happened real quick. But just talk about that. Make sure we know that anytime we get close to the goal line, who's holding, who's going. If we get, again, punts, always talk about that. Who's going back on a bad snap. But this is just a good one to show. Again, just because the defense touched it doesn't mean they were responsible for it. The offense was responsible for putting that ball in that end zone and ultimately putting it out of the back of the end zone. So comes down to it, by rule, this is a safety. All right, real quick, I want to talk a little bit about maybe an odd topic, but let's talk about what we do during the game, pregame, when we're playing on fields that don't have tick marks. And by tick marks, I mean we don't have the yard markers here in the middle of the field or on the sidelines here. We've gotten spoiled over the last couple of years as more and more schools go to the turf fields that have the permanent lines on them. The lines are perfect. Every one's a line. They've got them inside, outside. Sometimes if the college team also uses the field, we have to fight with 2 sets of hash marks in the middle. But in this case, old school grass, real old school, because all we have are the 5-yard mark. So you see 30, 25, 20, and so forth. But just to bring up a point is make sure we know this going in pregame with a referee asks the coach, or we're just familiar with the school and we know they don't have it. Because let's talk about pregame, how we're going to do it, because it makes it real difficult. First of all, if we've been spoiled and we just know, we've been telling coaches, hey, if we start at the 32, first down, and we get to the 22, and we know we put a ball right on the 22, we got a first down, right? Again, even if we're checking the chains and they set the chains up wrong or something, hey, it's easy, coach. We started on the 32 and you had to get to the 22. But in this case, you see we start kind of on an odd yard line here. We don't have hash marks, so make sure we know that going in. Let's talk about how we're going to deal with measurements, because we typically end up measuring a little more when we have fields like this. Make sure we talk about measurements, and let's make sure we talk about penalty enforcement as well. Make sure we're good, because we don't have those tick marks to help us count and give us a guide. We have to go back. The umpires have to go back to the old school, kind of stepping it off. So let's make sure we know that we have that conversation with the whole crew going in, and we're doing it right. We have the headlinesman walking, the line judge at the spot, so in case we do screw up, we don't have a guy. We can go back if we have to and do it all over again. From there. So let's just, again, make sure we have that conversation pregame. In this case, just to kind of show you a play where it becomes important. You'll see here it's 3rd and about 5, and we go and we get stuffed in the middle, and here we go. We know we're going to be close, so guys do a good job. Let me back that up. Guys do a good job of coming in. We know we're close. We're not killing it because we don't know if we got it, so they're coming in trying to get a spot. So headlinesman rushing in. Line judge, you can kind of see his shadow. He's making his way in there. We need a spot. So ended up having a measure on this, and that's fine. But again, let's make sure we talk through that. But let's just know, in this case, we can't just pick a line because we don't really have one for reference because we weren't using the big line. So make sure pregame we're having those conversations when we have fields like this, and that way we don't get ourselves into a bind, walking off penalties incorrectly, or, coming up, we think we got a first, we signal first down, we put the ball down, and we all of a sudden we come and look, and we're half a yard short or something like that. So just keep in mind, if we get these kind of fields, stuff like that, just have those conversations pregame, and we can keep from making mistakes, silly mistakes that make us look like we don't know what we're doing, even though we may be having a good game otherwise. All right, finally, I want to talk just real quick, have a little 7-man refresher. So as you can see, well, I hope you can see if it loads up. If it looks on your computer same way I'm looking at it right here. So 7-man crew, you can see referee 1, 2, 3. You can't see anyway. Back judge is back here. Hopefully you can see that. So we've got 7, but this is just a typical running play. So 35. So we're not in goal line mechanics. So you see line guide right here on 35, 20 yards from there. You've got side judge, field judge out of view. Hopefully you can see the back judge. Back judge right here. He's 5 yards behind him. Put some 25. He's standing right there on the 10. So we know right now, just a little refresher. Again, just remember back judge, because mainly back judge, we're not used to working with a back judge. And back judges are probably, I say, heck, some of them are wing guys, and hell, some of them are even umpires stuff during the year. So just remember a couple things, couple important things to remember back judge. One, stay in the middle of the field. Please stay in the middle of the field. Good job. Here, we're right in the middle. Even if we're snapping left hash, we're in the middle of the field. We're snapping right hash, we're in the middle of the field. Now, give yourself a step or two if you need to. That's fine. Give yourself a step or two so you can see your key or the ball, whatever you need to see. Obviously, you need to see the ball. Remember, in this case, we have a play clock. So make sure you can give yourself a line of sight of the play clock that's going to be way down here in the other end, and you can see the ball. It doesn't do any good to see the play clock but not be able to see whether or not the ball snaps. So remember that. Back judge, you are responsible in the crew of 7 for the play clock, making sure they it's running properly and that they get it snapped in time. So with that, again, I'll say it 100 times if I have to, stay in the middle of the field as much as you can. Now I'm talking about working the play that way. If something happens and we get some crazy stuff out of bounds over here, come help. That doesn't mean just stand there and watch players fight. Go help out with the dead ball stuff. But pre-snap, all your routine there, stay in the middle of the field. Keep that in mind. So remember, we've got the goal line here, and anytime somehow they throw a deep pass and it's threatening the back line, you're going to have to give up the goal line and go cover the end line and let the deep wings, side judge and field judge, hold the goal line while you go cover the end line. So just keep that in mind. On a running play, though, which is what this is going to end up being, you're going to just drop back as it comes to you and go to the goal line. So I'll go ahead and let this play out. Hopefully this will make a little more sense as we get going. Okay, appreciate that. Let's talk about, let me back it up just a little bit. Real quick on keys. Rule of thumb, if we've got tight ends, which we don't in this case, remember back judge, not only we're staying in the middle of the field because we're pretty much looking for the stuff in the middle of the field. So if they got a tight end, 9 times out of 10, you're going to key on the tight end at the snap. In this case, they don't. They're balanced. So what does that mean if we're balanced? That means he's going to key to the line judge's side, right? So just real quick to go over keys, balance formation, what you'll see the most of. Deep guy. In this case, it's going to be field judge. You're keying right here. Back judge. Your keys right here to slot receiver. Line judge. Your keys this back. Coming to the other side, head linesman, your keys this inside receiver. Side judge, your key will be out here. So we got all 5 eligibles covered, and referee's got the quarterback. So we've got them. We've got those covered. So all 6 players who are eligible, if you include the quarterback, are covered. So just know that and have that conversation pregame. Back judge, hey, if we're balanced, we're always going to key to the line judge's side. But again, anytime you see a tight end, if you're confused about what to do, look inside. Look for the stuff inside. Tight end leaking out right here. As soon as the ball snaps, slot receiver cut. We've got a bunch of stuff coming to the middle. Look towards the middle. Please don't get caught. If your key right off the snap comes way down here, starts running the sideline, as a back judge, please don't be looking at a receiver trying to run down the sideline. We've got 2 guys that can help you there. Just look for the stuff in the middle of the field as much as you can. So enough about keys. We'll let this play out and just kind of see here. Much breaks the tackle, gets going. So good job. Still looking at it, it's turning and going, still looking. One of the toughest things to do as a back judge too is to, again, just remember you had to go 10 yards to know where the goal line is. The side judge and the field judge got a pylon right there, kind of catches their eye so they know where to stop. But as back judge, that's fine. You ever run a little bit to stop. Don't be in a hurry to get back necessarily. We'll get there. He's down. You got help here. He gets in. He's in. That's a touchdown. So he went a yard or 2 past. No big deal. No big deal. He knew what he needed to do. There's no reason to go cover the end line on a running play. Unless that ball, he fumbles it or something. We got to go see what happens back there. But if he's got possession coming in, you see touchdown, touchdown. And again, the side judge probably a little confused. It's tough. But again, no need to signal through the back of a guy. Let these two, it happened in between them, so let these two have it. But again, force a habit. You want to go up, but and again, he was a little deep, might not have seen him. But no need to necessarily signal over here. You know, if you do, you do. But let these two have it. It's right in front of them. Same thing going the other way. You know, if we have reverse mechanics and this is a referee on a fumble or something, fumble return, no need for the deep guy who run all the way down here and signal. We'll just let them two have it. But again, just a refresher. Back judge, middle of the field, deep guys. Same thing. Biggest thing is communicate. And remember, we don't want to start, if we're snapping 25, let's say 23. Remember, anytime inside the 25, if we're snapping inside 25, we're going to put the deep guy. The back judge is going to be on the goal line right here, the goalpost. He's got, under the goalpost on the end line. So he's going to have this covered, right? He's going to have all this. Your wings or your deep wing side judge, field judge are going to stay on this goal line, right? Pick either start at the 5 or start at the goal line, but don't start at the 3. So let's say we're 23. Even though it puts you 23 yards from the snap, that's fine. Go ahead and start on the goal line. Deep guys, back judge back here on the end line, and officiate it. Then all you got to do is turn and watch it happen. Let the back judge have this back line. If we get a throw to the end line, there's no need to give up the goal to go rush back here and figure it out like we would in a crew of 6. He'll have that. Just hold still, keep your head still, focus in on it, and you two guys work together to figure out what we got. So again, just review the mechanics manual for a crew of 7 going in, but that's just some of the basics in terms of you know, how we're going to do it. Hopefully, again, I'm going to say it again, back judges, stay in the middle of the field. Pre-snap, adjust a step or two if you need to. Again, the goal line's yours on running plays, and the end line is always yours. So anytime that end line's threatened, the play's coming your way, that's going to be you. Give up the goal line to go make sure the end line's covered if you have to. That's that. Again, we're getting to 7 playoffs. Guys, stay focused. Keep working on it hard. Stay in the mechanics manual. And you guys working playoff crews, good luck. All right, well, that was it for this week. Hopefully see as we start getting deeper into the season, start working some playoff crews, working some 7-man, stuff like that. So stay in the mechanics manual, stay in the rules. Make sure we're having good conversations pregame, especially as we put crews together that haven't been together all year long. You've gotten used to working with somebody, and you've gotten used to each other. Now all of a sudden we're putting an extra person in the mix, or you're meeting somebody for the very first time and trying to figure each other out. So let's make sure we're having good pregame conversations about mechanics, keys, all that kind of stuff. So when it comes down to it, something crazy happens out there, we know we got each other's back. We know we got confidence in each other and what we're doing. So other than that, good luck, guys, and as always, stay safe.